Alright, so today we're going to look at basically how we know a chemical reaction has happened, and we call these the signs of chemical change. So there are 5 signs that we're concerned with, and we can actually see 2 of them in this diagram right here. Now, the first one we're going to look at, and we'll look at all of these in step as observations and conclusions we can draw from that. So the first one is that bubbles are given off or a gas is liberated. Next one's a colour change, and we see that right here. By the way, these are all signs of a change in, well, not all of them, but colour change, for example, is a sign of change in chemical properties. Temperature change, okay, that's to do with the energy of a reaction. A precipitate is formed, that's the other one we see here. So we can now see a solid has appeared around the nail there. Light is given off. There are 5 changes, okay, so let's go through those step by step. So first, a gas is liberated. Liberated means released, okay, so when a gas is released, it's usually indicated by bubbles. So those are our observations, by the way. So gas is released, bubbles are rising up. The new chemical substance formed, so the product of the reaction, is a gas. All right, so that's the conclusion. Colour change. There's actually bubbles as well there, and a lot of energy, heat being released. So the observation is the colour of a substance changes. So we'll get rid of that, we'll edit that for next time. We can draw a conclusion from this, and that is that a new substance is formed with different chemical properties. And the colour it's a physical property, but it's based on the chemical properties of each element. Alright, so temperature change. Okay, so our observation is the temperature changes. Now, just quickly, an exothermic reaction gives off heat. This is very clearly an exothermic reaction. This is something called thermite. And thermite is, we'll try and get this done. I can't see us being allowed to do it, but we'll try, see if we can get to do it. An endothermic reaction draws energy in so that the surrounding area gets colder. And so these are used chemical energy, using energy during that chemical change. So our conclusion, a chemical change has occurred because a significant energy change was involved. Precipitate. All right, cool. So our observation is that when we mix 2 solids, mix 2 solutions, and we see here they're clear, they're homogeneous, a solid forms. The solid is what we call precipitating out of solution. So, for example, when rain falls out of the sky, it's precipitating out of the sky. So there's a conclusion to be drawn from this, and that is that the new substance formed, and again, here's the key, new substance, is insoluble. So it won't break down into water, it won't break apart, so that it becomes a homogeneous mixture. Light is released. This here is what we call a magnesium flare. Now, so it's similar to an exothermic reaction, and it usually is, like if something's giving off light, it's usually pretty hot, you can't touch it. So the observation is that light energy is released during a chemical reaction, and there's a conclusion to draw from this, and that is energy is released in the breaking of bonds. Pretty simple, so you break a bond, it releases energy, or we make a more stable bond, which means the particles have energy, okay, so but when we join them together, they don't need as much energy to be stable, so they release it, they get rid of it. And that's actually what happens with magnesium. We're joining things together, and because magnesium oxide is more stable than both magnesium and oxygen, it releases energy off because it didn't need it to hold it together. So that's signs of chemical change. Again, do the form at the end, and yeah, see you in class.